and welcome in to the Josh Ennis Show. It is Josh, it is Jilly, it is Luther, and we are glad you are with us here tonight, live on Twitch, obviously recording for the podcast as well, and it is good to be with you guys tonight. Jilly, how are you?
I'm good.
That didn't sound like it. That didn't sound...
No, I've cramps.
Oh,
Started
no.
that.
Oh, boy. I really regret asking. Well, boy, I guess I have to deal with that, but I regret asking.
Why?
I don't know.
It happens. It's not a secret.
Yeah. Guess so. So, we are going to start, by the way, because I just saw this pop up on my screen. For those of you who don't listen to the 97.5 show, or you do listen to the 97.5 show, or you didn't know that you could access the 97.5 show, we are going to start hosting the 97.5 show via our Twitch channel. So when I'm on 97.5 during the day, you should get a notification that says, hey, Josh Ennis show is live. The Josh Ennis show Twitch is live. And you can watch the Josh Ennis show radio version, and you can watch that via Twitch. So there you go. You can watch that during the day. I believe Don is supposed to set that up. I'm questioning whether or not he's done anything right on this. I'm not positive on that. I'm not convinced that that he hasn't screwed something up, because they get this hard-on Twitch. They have such a hard-on Twitch for all this different shit they're doing. I'm just trying to do a radio show, trying to do a podcast, trying to do a show on here, and hope for the best. So, like right here, I'm seeing ESPN 97.5 has gone offline, exiting host mode. So does that mean I've been hosting ESPN 97.5 on my channel all day?
Does it just host your show on 97.5, or does it host their channel all day? That's a good question.
I don't know. I have to ask
Is it
him.
any time someone goes live on ESPN 97.5 that will host on your channel?
Because if so, that is no good. That is
how
no
you would
good
be
at all.
Like, does Don know that other people use Twitch there? Because maybe he thinks you're the only one that's on Twitch there.
I don't know. I know he doesn't know. I know that that's not true, because I know that he knows that. So I'm curious about that. I'm very curious to see what that means. I might have to call Don today and get a confirmation on all this shit.
I think we're just going to have to wait and see what it does tomorrow.
I'm going to have to ask. I keep seeing people post Bubba out. What the fuck? Who is Bubba? Why do I care about, is it? Oh, I see people. Why would I celebrate? Like, here's what I don't understand. Why would anybody on this chat think that I care that Bubba Wallace spun out at a NASCAR race? Like, I don't know that you know the show if you think I give a shit that Bubba Wallace spun out at a NASCAR race.
Clearly, that's the fault of some white fella.
I mean, come on, like I care. Like I give a damn. I don't care anything about Bubba Wallace.
You're not going to believe it. The track was racist.
Oh, I believe it was. Hold on, before we get into anything, let me at least get to Dr. Busby here like I'm supposed to do. Okay, let's do that. And then you guys can sit there and yell about Bubba Wallace as if I give two shits about what happens to Bubba Wallace. Let's see. I do have to tell you, though, about Dr. Busby, because Dr. Busby is wonderful. What does Dr. Busby do? Well, she's a veterinarian, and she helps dogs like my boy Luther, because she's got this supplement, the Encore Mobility Supplement. It's an awesome supplement, and Luther takes it every morning. It helps him with his hip and joint issues. It helps restore mobility and comfort. It renews vigor and vitality. Let me tell you, it's just a wonderful thing, man. Just a wonderful thing. And I'll tell you, she helps Luther. We contact her all the time. She's so nice. She's so caring. She's so considerate. And she truly does want to help your animals, help your dogs. Of course, Toe Grips at the website as well. ToeGrips.com can help your dog if your dog struggles to walk on hardwood floors due to age, arthritis, injury, surgery, or disability. But your dog can walk on rugs, carpet, and grass. Well, then this is probably for you. The Toe Grips, they're awesome. So Toe Grips from ToeGrips.com. And of course, the Encore Mobility from ToeGrips.com. And she's also got the do-it-yourself nail kit. She's got it all. I mean, it's a great site and a great blog. So basically any question you could possibly have, my guess is she's done a blog about it, because basically, I feel like she does a lot of her blogs based on the questions I ask her all the time. So
They're really good blogs, though. There's a lot of info.
you can check them out at towgrips.com. That is towgrips.com. And if you use the promo code Luther, that's Luther, Luther, 10% off site-wide. 10% off site-wide if you use the promo code Luther. And you got a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if these supplements don't work, which I find hard to believe, or if the toe grips don't work, or if you don't get if anything you get on the site, if you feel like, you know what, it just wasn't the right fit, I didn't like, whatever, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So please, I urge you to go to the website, towgrips.com, use the promo code Luther. You'll get 10% off using the promo code Luther. 30-day money-back guarantee. It is the lovely and talented and wonderful Dr. Busby, towgrips.com. Thank you very much, Dr. Busby. You know we love you, and we know that we appreciate you.
They're the ones that are actually closer to animals.
Not those kind of animals, Nick Cannon. She works on dogs and cats. She does not work on angry white people and Jews.
They're the ones that are actually closer to animals.
I didn't know if Nick Cannon was certain on that. I wasn't positive, but I hope Nick Cannon knows different kind of animals, not the kind of animals you were talking about on your podcast that led to the end of your Wild and Out show, which, by the way, is going to do nothing but lead him to some bigger show because that's the way these things work.
Well, he'll get ownership of it somehow, and he'll put it online. It'll be fine. And keep in mind, I mean, he's not hurting. I know in his apologies, like, you're trying to take food out of my... I forget how he worded it, like, take away stuff from my family or whatever. Okay, you're still on Fox. You're still hosting The Masked Singer. You still have your radio show. More people than ever will probably listen to your podcast.
Well, he's full of shit.
I think you're fine.
No, he's totally full of shit, and that's okay. That's totally okay. He's full of shit. That's what annoyed me most about this. Well, I'll tell you a couple things that annoyed me most about the Nick Cannon thing. One is the guy is just basically a moron, and he's spouting off anti-Semitic shit that if Daniel Carver from the Klan said this, you'd be like, holy shit, that's the most offensive stuff ever. But because it's a dipshit black guy on his podcast, well, you know what? There could be some truth. The number of people who tweet me about this and go, oh, you're just mad because that man's out there telling the truth?
The only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight, okay,
in order to survive.
Like the fact that people will message me, like that just shows how screwed up we are as a people, that you can hear all of the commentary. And I saw someone break it down well, some guy, I don't know who he was, but I saw it retweeted by a media person I knew from Philadelphia, basically saying that this dude is espousing all of this weird racist rhetoric that used to go around the barbershops back in the day, like just dumb shit. It's hysterical how dumb this is, but it's even funnier / scarier to see the number of people who are like, yep, I agree with that, man. He's just telling the truth. How are you going to hate on a man for telling the truth? And then he has the balls to go out and turn it into a black man being muzzled situation. Like, I think that's what makes it funnier to me is like, and then there are people that buy it. There are people that buy it. It's 2020. We're supposed to be ending racism and bigotry and bringing people together. Yet we got dudes saying this type of shit.
The only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight, okay,
in order to survive.
We got people saying this kind of dumb shit.
And that wasn't even the worst of it from what I've read.
But, like, it's amazing how that's allowed. Like, it's just funny. Like, we could say that about one particular race of people, but, like, we're supposed to be bringing people together. Like, there's so many elements that I find great. And then, of course, he tries to co-opt the whole black movement and say, well, this is just an example of a black man being muzzled. No, you said something stupid. You got fired. It's not the problem of the rest of the country. It's not a societal issue. It's not a black issue. It's a moron doing something stupid and getting fired. Look, I've been fired multiple times, right? And I'd argue I've been fired. The two things I was fired for were far less than what Nick Cannon lost Wild and Out for. And by the way, again, he's not really fired. He's, I already saw a thing where, like, Diddy allegedly wants to bring him in and, like, repackage this dumb show anyway. So he's got his radio show. He's got his TV shows. He's got his podcast. The idea, and I think you just said it, it's preposterous that the guy is somehow his kids aren't going to eat. I mean, that's just stupid. I got to feed my family.
Their mom is also Mariah Carey.
Correct. I wouldn't doubt that dude's still getting palimony from Mariah Carey. She's rich as shit, okay? So that's one thing. But number two is, too many times people get fired for stuff, and they try to turn it into something that it's not. In this case, this had nothing to do with white dudes or Jewish dudes trying to take food out of someone's mouth or flex their muscles. You said something offensive, far more offensive than anything Drew Brees has said. I'd argue far more offensive than the stuff we got from Deshaun Watson, right? Deshaun Jackson. Because you think about Deshaun Jackson, he just, retweeted or shared some picture with Farrakhan and Hitler shit. Not good, not ideal, but he ain't the one rambling on for 20 minutes about how Whitey is terrible and Whitey is evil and Jews are animals.
They're the ones that are actually closer to animals.
Like the fact that, I'll defend Deshaun Jackson far more than I'll defend this. But that's the thing people need to understand is you get fired for stuff and people have the right to fire you. Do I think I should have been fired? No. Do I think I would have been fired had my ratings been higher in Philly? No. Do I think if I were generating more revenue, not pissing off people in Houston, I would have been fired? No. In reality, I didn't get fired for pissing off the Rockets, or I didn't get fired for an Al Jolson picture. It was a lot deeper than that. But on the surface, I got fired for an Al Jolson picture and I got suspended for the Kelsey thing. Neither one of the things I did in Philadelphia are even remotely close to this. But I'll say this. So, Billy D. Washington, who has called the show. He called last week. Used to be a real big fan of the show when I was on 610, and now I don't think he's as big of a fan of the show anymore, and that's fine. It is what it is. But he's a nice guy, and I have no problem with him. He tweeted me today when I had tweeted about Nick Cannon, and when I said that, it's not a societal issue, it's a you problem, to which he said, oh, but I thought the cancel culture was a societal issue. Bro, this ain't cancel culture. I think what people have a hard time with is understanding the difference between cancel culture and people who are management of a company who don't like when, one of your people is on the internet saying wacky shit that would make Alex Jones blush.
The only way that they can act is
And back to your example of thinking that you were canceled. Do you see now how you weren't canceled? Nick Cannon wasn't canceled. Nick Cannon got fired.
You know what? You're right.
You weren't canceled.
You're right.
You got fired.
You are absolutely
right.
There
was no mob calling for Nick Cannon to be pulled off of MTV.
You're correct.
But MTV and Viacom made a decision.
You know what? I agree with you now. I finally agree with you.
The other thing, too, is this isn't new. This isn't just Viacom, who's the parent company of VH1, MTV, all these, reality shows.
Mm-hmm.
There's been countless numbers of reality stars on MTV that have gotten fired in the past couple months because of previous racist tweets and previous things that were deemed racist of all races. So it's not just let's shut the black guy up. I mean,
of course it's not.
They shut up a lot of their TV people. So it's nothing new for Viacom.
It is funny, though, because, again, he's trying to co-opt the whole black movement and say, guys, did you see this? They're shutting us up. This is the kind of shit that just empowers people like Nick Cannon because he clearly has an audience of idiots. Just like there's an audience for the out there shit of Alex Jones. There's an audience for everybody's got an audience, right? But the kind of stuff this dude is saying is the kind of shit that if anybody else of any other color were saying this type of shit about any other race or any other color, we'd go, this guy is a lunatic and should just be banned from talking forever, right? That's number one on this. But when I also break this down to talk about the difference between cancel culture, and you're absolutely right. I agree now. I did not get canceled. I was not canceled. I was just fired. There's a difference between canceling and firing. Canceling, generally speaking, revolves around somebody who said something or did something that any logical thinking human would not find offensive, but overreacts to, and the world overreacts to it, and thus that person is canceled. Drew Brees nearly got canceled.
Yes.
And that would have been a great example of canceling. I'd argue that Deshaun Jackson's thing ain't even in the same ballpark as Drew Brees, but he also didn't say anything himself. He retweeted something. I'll take him on his word that he's just an ignorant asshole, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he seems like an idiot. So I'll give him that. That's canceling someone. Going after a baseball player who tweeted rap lyrics when he was 14 years old, that's trying to cancel someone, right? Going back and digging up 10-year-old posts from Kevin Hart where he's saying stuff about gays and everything, that's trying to cancel someone, right? In 2020, when you kind of have the basic gist of the rules about what you can and can't say, like the white people in Rochester that were saying, well, they were doing things, were they black or were they kind of N-word-ish or whatever? Those people that got fired, they didn't get canceled. You shouldn't be on the radio saying, well, were they N-word-ish or were they? No, that's stupid and you deserve to be fired. That's not canceling. And I think what happens is people like Billy D. Washington try to come back at me when I talk about cancel culture, like he's a comedian. I think every single thing he says on a stage should be exempt because it's comedy, it's humor, right? The shit I've done on the radio, I might say stuff that bothers people, and you might disagree with me. I don't think I've said anything since I've been on 97.5 or even dating back that you would look at and go, whoa, that's super, like, obviously offensive, right? Like, I said one word that people didn't like, but it was done in the way of a joke, and it was about a white guy. So I don't believe that I was doing something patently offensive, something that was so glaringly, obviously offensive, where Nick Cannon is sitting there on his podcast, and he is telling people that Jewish people and white people are beneath him. He's saying they are bad people. He's saying they are savages.
My favorite part, though, is how he explained that it couldn't possibly have been hate speech because they're the real Hebrews.
They are the real Hebrews.
Yes, so it can't be anti-Semitic.
Like, that's one part, like, we didn't get that audio because, like, I didn't even know about that until after we played it yesterday. I'm like, holy shit, this guy.
They're the ones that are actually closer to animals.
That's the difference. And I think what happens is when you talk about cancel culture, the difference between cancel culture and, hey, you know what? People get fired. Things happen, right? In this situation, you look at Nick Cannon, and this is a guy who attacked a group of people. It wasn't done with humor. It was done with malice. It was done with ignorance. It's no different than the white people up in Rochester. It's no different than any sort of hateful. Basically, he's saying the views, partially. Basically, he feels the same way about Jews as Daniel Carver from the Stern Show felt about Jews. So think about this. You want to really blow someone's mind? His views on this are aligned with the Klan. Think about that for a second. That's pretty hysterical when you think about it, that this dude is on the radio and he shares the same views as the Klan about Jewish people, right? It's amazing to me. But he didn't, like, his was not a canceling. His was somebody firing him, and it's actually just going to be better for him. It's going to make him seem edgier, and it's going to make him seem badass, and it's going to make him seem like he fought the man.
Yep.
In reality, it's not. He's just a hack. He is what he is. He decided a couple of years ago to put on a turban, and now he's woke, and now he's black activist. But I am curious. Like, he's boys with Howard Stern, right? Howard Stern is the self-proclaimed half Jew, but Howard Stern is Jewish. That was just the joke, that he was a half Jew. I don't wonder how Howard Stern feels about...
They're the ones that are actually closer to animals.
Like, I'm curious, right? Like, I'd like to know. That's his boy. He was on his show multiple times. He blew him. Like, when Nick Cannon would be on the show, this is back when I used to listen to the Stern Show still, I'm guessing that Stern probably, considering that he ain't a half Jew, he's Jewish, I'm curious to know how Stern will react to, basically be called the most evil people on the planet.
He'll probably say, we are.
Is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight, okay,
in order to survive.
Now, you might say, well, that wasn't all about Jews, but it's also about white people. So he's one of those. So I'm just curious. I'd like to know how Howard Stern reacts to his buddy, his friend, his guy who was on his show, his guy who he blew on that show multiple times. Remember how when they talked about how great America's Got Talent was, that like when Stern initially started going real soft, right? And he's got Nick Cannon on. He's talking about how brilliant and funny. I believe he said he had a great radio show, which my guess is he never listened to his fucking radio show. But you get my point. Like, I'm curious to know. I'd like to know what Stern, I don't know, maybe he said something today. I don't know. I don't listen to it, but I haven't seen anything in the news. The only time Stern makes any sort of news is when he does anti-Trump stuff, so we never actually hear from Stern ever anymore. I'm curious. I'd like to know what a Jewish man who's friends with this guy thinks about that, being called basically less than human, being called an animal, and being called evil.
As I said, he'll probably be like, yeah, we deserve it. That's very Howard these days.
He might. He very well might. Now, before we get into anything else, Jilly, who do I need to tell them about today?
Concrete chemistry.
Concrete chemistry. They're in the business of concrete. That's right. Shiny, beautiful, pretty, resinous concrete. They design and install resinous and polished concrete floor systems for commercial, industrial, and institutional applications. And if you're listening in Houston or Philadelphia, they can do them both for you. They can go to either place and do it for you. So if I were you, like, I don't know, good-looking floors. Let me get that picture of the floors for everybody to see. See if I can. There it is. Look at those floors. Those are good-looking, shiny floors. But you see, they put them in airplane hangars, stores, retail. And some people even put these floors in their homes. You know, one of the people that, the guys that teamed up with Gamma and the guys, they actually put in these type of floors in their homes. Some people like that look, kind of that lofty industrial look. So they do amazing work. They're awesome. And in response to COVID, they're offering virtual job site walks and virtual project estimates via Google Duo. And you can set up your appointment at concretechemistry.com. That phone number is 713-497-4701, 713-497-4701. The president is Eric Daly. He's called the show before. We need to call him again at some point. He can talk about the new deals, new specials he's got going on. He's working on a few things. So we'll need to get involved with him at some point. But 713-497-4701. Eric Daly, the president, at Concrete Chemistry, concretechemistry.com. Who is next, Jill?
Mac Knight Safety Solutions.
Mac Knight Safety Solutions. They are one of our favorites. They are loyal. We love them. They're wonderful. And I'll get their right graphic up here at some point. Nope. I put up every graphic, and McKnight was last because I'm horrible at everything I do, and that is well documented. But Mac Knight Safety Solutions, really good people. You talk about good guys, Travis and everybody over there. I see them on Facebook all the time. But you need to check them out if you have a job site and you need safety staffing and consulting on that job site. They work nationwide projects and international projects. When companies have a temporary need for safety oversight on projects, they use the folks at Mac Knight Safety Solutions versus hiring their own people. They work in industrial and commercial construction, oil field and manufacturing facilities. Basically, they are there to make sure that people aren't falling off of anything or getting run over by anything. I don't know a lot about a job site, being that I'm more of a face worker than a hands worker. But on that job site, they are there to protect. They also conduct facility audits for regulatory compliance, and they assist their clients with developing and maintaining comprehensive safety programs. That helps you out. It makes your life easier, gives you peace of mind. They're awesome at what they do, and they can work a job for you anywhere in this great country, or really across the country, across the land, across the globe. The folks at Mac Knight Safety Solutions, you can check them out on Facebook. You can check them out at MacKnightSafety.com. The number is 832-363-1295, 832-363-1295. That is Mac Knight Safety Solutions. Is that it?
That's
We've
it.
done so for that one? So, good. On we go.
The Bubba Wallace story is actually, he's very angry.
Why is Bubba Wallace angry today?
Because I guess another driver is what caused this crash intentionally, he says.
Doesn't that happen in racing a lot of the time? Don't guys that kind of shit happens, right? I don't know. Trust me, I don't know a damn thing. Now I get why you guys brought up Bubba Wallace, okay? Now,
yes.
I don't know much about racing, but if this guy is somehow going to try to turn this into a racial thing, then the guy's a total putz.
So basically, this was like a qualifier to get into the NASCAR Cup Series All-Star race on Wednesday night. If you were in this race, it's because you hadn't won a race in 2019 or 2020, so you had to race in the qualifier.
Okay.
There's also a fan vote that would get you into the All-Star race, and he was leading the fan vote. But now, because his car was told to be on repair, he can't be in the All-Star race at all.
Oh, no. Well, the only reason he would have been... Okay, but here's the thing about that.
Well, he could have either won one of the qualifiers or got in with the fan vote.
How many qualifiers are there?
3.
And there's 3 different qualifying races?
3 different
or just 3 people
legs,
from that race?
I think.
Okay. So, but now he can't because his car was wrecked, and now he can't race. Real talk. The only reason Bubba Wallace, whose name I had heard his name, I just assumed it was some hillbilly NASCAR driver, didn't know he was a black guy. The only reason anybody would vote for Bubba Wallace is because he is the black guy in NASCAR that some people still believe was a victim of a hate crime. So he's the only reason he would even be considered that, because from everything I've read, and I've never watched NASCAR, so I couldn't tell you the rules of it. I couldn't tell you how it works. I know Dale died. That's what I know about NASCAR, and people were sad. But my guess is, based on how mediocre of a driver people have said he is, nobody would have given a damn about him had this whole noose thing not happened.
So this Michael McDowell is the driver that intentionally ruined Bubba Wallace's chance to get into this.
Oh, this guy's going to be donezo now.
McDowell turned his car left on the straightaway and turned Wallace into the wall during the first segment of the qualifying race for the main event. McDowell was apparently unhappy with a bump that Wallace had just made to make a pass. McDowell was trying to block Wallace to keep him behind, but Wallace used his bumper to get past, and McDowell looked like he took offense. So after the race...
How would you know? But how would they know this? Like, how can you... Oh, here's my question. And again, I don't know anything about NASCAR, so maybe somebody can help me understand. How exactly, if a guy in a car wearing a helmet that covers his face, how can you tell if it looked like somebody took offense to something if you can't see their face?
So after he was checked out or whatever after this little incident, Bubba Wallace says, quote, "People say he's one of the nicest guys in the garage. Can't wait for the God-fearing text that he's going to send me about preaching and praise and respect. What a joke he is."
So the guy can't be religious or a good guy if he fucked with you on the track? So like, let me ask you this. So a guy, like say a basketball player is a goon on the court, like a guy that like fouls, like a Bill Laimbeer or somebody like that. So you mean to tell me the guy can't be a good human and the guy can't be a good a person, a religious person, if they foul you hard on a basketball court? I mean, it's the same logic, right? Like, come on, man. Again, I don't know a damn thing about racing. I don't know the rules of racing. I've watched a little bit of it. I know Dale died in like 2000 or 2001, and people were crying and all that shit. I don't know much about NASCAR at all. I have seen Six Pack starring Kenny Rogers. That's the extent of my knowledge. And I used to play NASCAR 2000 or 99 on N64. It was a solid game. My favorite track was Talladega. I remember that. I know very little about NASCAR, but this just sounds like a dude who's gotten used to being coddled by the media now, and now he ain't happy about something that happened on the track, and now he's acting like a bitch, based on what you're describing to me. Again, I don't know, I don't know that what this dude does makes him a POS because I know nothing about NASCAR. I know none of it. So I don't know if this was good or bad or illegal or dirty or whatever. My guess is they'll probably they'll let him race in another car and be an all-star. I don't know. I know nothing about NASCAR. It sounds like a horrible time and something I'd have no interest in watching.
Then afterwards, Bubba took the bumper of his wrecked car and dropped it at the hauler door of this guy.
He did what?
He took the bumper of his car and just dropped it at the hauler door of the fellow that caused the wreck.
Oh, boy. That sounds kind of like a bitch move, too. Like, this is my bumper, bitch. What's that going to do? Like, send him a message? Do you think the guy's going to care? He's like, you broke my car, bitch. Here's my bumper. These bumpers was pulled off by a Races. Salinas. With an S, man. It was weird.
He can't get another car because this race is actually tonight. After the 3 qualifiers, their actual legit race, the All-Star Open, is tonight.
I'm guessing the answer that this guy had was...
Sorry.
I just don't...
So that's why people brought up Bubba Wallace, because there's a whole thing about
I just thought like people in my chat felt like just going after the black dude today. I'm sorry. Poor assumption on my part. I take it back. Like, I just thought people were celebrating the fact that Bubba Wallace got into an accident.
This Michael McDowell has also gotten into a fight on pit road before with somebody else as well.
Well, shit happens.
He seems like a real wild card.
I mean, again, I can't sit here and break down either one of these guys because I know nothing about NASCAR or about them. But so what? The guy fought with someone. The guy's probably an a-hole. I mean, it is what it is. It's part of the sport, I guess. The guy got angry, ran the dude off. But please don't try to make this a racial thing. Well, what am I saying? It's going to become a racial thing. Nick Cannon will have thoughts. Now, Nick Cannon probably never watched NASCAR. He'll have thoughts. Ice Cube will have thoughts. They'll talk about the Jews and whatnot, and about how the Jews, like that'll be the good thing. You know what? The Jews run NASCAR.
The only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight, okay.
in order to survive.
Hey, maybe he's got a point. Maybe that's the only way these white NASCAR drivers can survive.
Do you feel that a Fletch reboot is necessary?
No, because I'll be real with you. I think Fletch sucked. I think Fletch is one of the most overrated movies ever.
Well, good news. A modern-day reboot of Fletch is in the works with Jon Hamm.
That sounds awful. Like, Jon Hamm doesn't come across as, like, snarky is not the word because Chevy Chase isn't snarky. He's just an asshole. Like, that's his type of humor is asshole humor, right? So, but no, a remake of Fletch? No, because Fletch isn't good. Like,
well, it's happening.
Think about that. I don't know if other people agree or disagree with that, and that's fine, but I have no clue why people think Fletch is funny. Really, Chevy Chase has only been funny in a handful of movies. Like, if I think about Chevy Chase movies, right, and you think of movies that he starred in that you'd go, wow, that was hysterical. And then you wonder how many of the movies were hysterical even based on Chevy Chase being in them or everyone else. Chevy Chase had a few deadpan laughs in Caddyshack, for instance. But everybody knows that the two people who made Caddyshack are Ted Knight and Rodney Dangerfield. They made Caddyshack with their ad-libbing, and that made the movie. Chevy Chase was nice in Caddyshack, and I'm not saying he stunk in Caddyshack, but nobody's like, boy, I love Caddyshack because of Chevy Chase. Now, Vacation, very good movie. Chevy Chase, very good. But remember, he's understated in that movie. That's his role. He's supposed to be dopey dad, so he's understated. He was actually better, and Chevy Chase was funnier in Christmas Vacation, which is actually Chevy Chase's best movie. I would take Christmas Vacation. If I had to do a Mount Rushmore of Chevy Chase movies, I would probably put, now, I'd put Caddyshack on there, but not because of Chevy Chase, although he's got some good lines in there. But that's the thing, Chevy Chase is weird, because Chevy Chase isn't a comedian. Like, Rodney Dangerfield's a comedian, thus he's a naturally funny person. That's his job. He is a comedian. He was a stand-up before he was doing any of this other stuff. Chevy Chase was never known as some great stand-up. Chevy Chase wasn't known as great on SNL. He did Weekend Update, and he did the dumb, the Gerald Ford bit where he fell over the podium. That's kind of what he was known for. But he kind of is more of the straight man. And Chevy Chase's line of work, his credentials, right? Chevy Chase was actually in far more terrible movies than good movies.
Oh, I'm looking at a list of movies, and there are some awful, awful films.
All right, so let's do this. You've got Chevy Chase's list of movies. I will give you a scale of 1 to 5 on these movies. We'll just do a certain number of them.
Of course, there's Vacation.
Vacation, I'm giving Vacation a. I'm going to write these down, and then we're going to add. Let me get a paper over here.
There's a whole notebook
right
here.
Have this notebook. All right. So, and then we're going to average out what the average rating of like 10 Chevy Chase movies are. So I'll give Vacation a 4.5. It's a brilliant movie. Okay.
Then there's Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation, I'm giving that a 5.
Then there's Caddyshack.
Caddyshack, I'm giving a 4.5.
Then there's Fletch.
Fletch, I'm giving a 1.5. It's terrible.
Then there's European Vacation.
European Vacation has a couple of funny lines in European Vacation, but overall not a great movie. And really, Chevy isn't all that great in that movie. Some of the best lines are from the kids who are hideous in that movie, or the guy that keeps Eric Idle keeps getting hit on the bike. I will go with 3. No, I'm going 2.5 on European Vacation.
That takes us to Vegas Vacation.
I think Vegas Vacation, but the thing is, Vegas Vacation is not a good movie, but it's one that I enjoy watching.
So where does that rank then?
I'll give it a 2.5
Okay.
as well.
Three Amigos.
Didn't care for Three Amigos. I'm going 2.0 on that.
Funny Farm.
Funny Farm. Can I give less than a 0? I'm going to go with a 0.5 on Funny Farm.
Spies Like Us.
Spies Like Us, another movie I didn't care for because it features another guy who I think is highly overrated in virtually everything other than Blues Brothers, and that's Dan Aykroyd. Maybe Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters also not a funny movie. It's an okay movie. It's a good movie, but Ghostbusters isn't exactly a funny movie. I will go Spies Like Us gets a 2 as well.
Foul Play.
Foul Play. Is that with Goldie Hawn? I didn't even see that, so I'm not going to count that one.
Okay, we'll skip that one. Hey, come back. Where was I at Foul Play? Okay, Nothing But Trouble.
Nothing But Trouble is a 0.
Fletch Lives.
0.
Seems Like Old Times.
0.
Man of the House.
-7. No, 0 as well. That's not fair because Man of the House is a dreadful movie. I will give no, those are all 0s. I'm giving those all 0s.
Cops and Robertson.
0. The 90s were just one giant 0. Basically, like after Christmas Vacation, it was all 0s.
And Snow Day.
0. You know what? He was his best work. The best work of Chevy Chase's 1990s resume was as the doctor in Dirty Work that was betting on the fights from the Rocky movies.
Yep, that was actually next on the list is Dirty Work.
But I don't count it because he's in it for 2 seconds.
Right.
And I'll actually eliminate, well, Snow Day, he's actually on the poster, so I'll count that. But I'm not going to count Dirty Work because he's not in it enough. It's like a bit part.
Yeah, I don't even know what half these other movies are. Caddyshack 2.
Oh, God, that's another 0. Okay.
Modern Problems.
Don't even know what that is, so I won't count it.
The Last Laugh, which is a Netflix film.
Oh, that's that. Yeah, we haven't seen that, so I'm not going to count that.
Hot Tub Time Machine. He gets
See,
credit.
Hot Tub Time Machine was good. I'll count that for him, and I'll give Hot Tub Time Machine a 3.5. I thought that was a pretty good movie.
Deal of the Century.
Don't know what that is.
Under the Rainbow.
Don't know what that is.
Zoom.
Don't know what that. I think that's like a cartoon or something. A voice.
Funny Money.
Don't know what that is.
Oh Heavenly Dog.
I haven't seen it. All right, so let's just take the ones I've got so far. Let's add these up. So there's 9.5, 13.5, 14, 15, 15 and a half, 17 and a half, 19 and a half, 21 and a half, 22. Okay, I added something wrong here. I'm going to do this. Now, I see a lot of people criticizing my taste in Chevy Chase movies. Didn't like Spies Like Us. And someone's angry because I said Ghostbusters really isn't a funny movie. It's a good movie, and there's a couple of funny lines. But you guys know how I feel. I think Bill Murray is also overrated. He's got, like, Bill Murray's best role ever was as Big Earn McCracken. His second best role ever was as himself in Zombieland. He did a lot of good shit, and then it's almost been undone by his desire to not be funny anymore. It's almost like Bill Murray set out one day and said, you know what? I'm tired of making classic movies like Caddyshack, like Groundhog Day, which is great, like Ghostbusters, like Scrooge. I'd argue Scrooge is great. Okay, Bill Murray is not. Let me redo that. Bill Murray is not overrated. Bill Murray, like 1980, 1979, because we'll count Meatballs. 1979 to 2000. Bill Murray is 1996 is where it will end because that's around the time of Kingpin. 79 to 96, Bill Murray is brilliant. Somewhere along the way, Bill Murray got tired of being brilliant and decided, yeah, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm just going to make really, really artsy, boring, unfunny shit. Like basically, when he started teaming up with Wes Anderson, that's when I was out. Now, let me add these things up. Do you have your calculator?
Sure.
Get a calculator. I'm going to add these up, and we're going to find the average grade of these. Let's see.
Random Chevy Chase
of
movies.
these random Chevy Chase movies.
Okay.
All right. 4.5 plus 5 plus 4.5 plus 1.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.0 plus 0.5 plus 2.0 plus 3.5 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. Now, what is the total of those?
28.5.
Now, let me count the total number of movies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So divided by 17.
1.7.
The average rating for a Chevy Chase movie on this scale, on the GIST movie scale, is 1.7. And when you really think about it, out of those 17 movies or 18 movies, you'd go, you know what? That sounds about right for a Chevy Chase movie. 1.7 sounds about right. So Josh doesn't like Fletch, Spies Like Us, and Ghostbusters, so he hates fun. I'm the last person that hates fun. I didn't understand I just didn't get Fletch. I don't understand why people think it's funny. I think it's dumb. I think it's just constant dopey one-liners from Chevy Chase, basically playing Chevy Chase. I didn't think it was funny. And you're right, M.W. Soulgrove, that the GIST movie scale is scientific fact.
Obviously.
That is a 1.7 average. Tell me if you think... Now, listen. Think about Chevy Chase movies. He made... By this thing, we've got about 3 great Chevy Chase movies. Caddyshack, Vacation, and Christmas Vacation. Those are 3 legitimately great movies. Then outside of that, you get a handful that are dopey, and then the rest are, middling, and then the rest stink. It makes sense that the son of a guy who's making Go Fishing has horrible taste in movies. Now you're being a dick. I have wonderful taste in movies. I apologize that your shitty 80s comedies like Fletch don't hold up very well. It's not a very funny movie. Who is the greatest comedic actor of all time? Boy, that's a fine question. I'd argue the greatest comedic performance in the history of cinema is Jackie Gleason as Buford T. Justice in Smokey and the Bandit. That would be one of them. It's hard to pick. Like, I know that Chevy Chase ain't the greatest comedic actor of all time. I can tell you that. I could tell you that if I had to do a Mount Rushmore of the greatest comedic performances ever, I would put Buford T. Justice. So I'd go Jackie Gleason would probably be on there as Buford T. Justice. I would go with Bill Murray as Big Ern. I think that's a brilliant one. Let's see. Boy, that's tough. That's a tough one. Gene Wilder's. Now, there's a good point there, John Fitch, on Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder's another guy who had like a handful of really good movies and then a lot of forgettable stuff, right? But the stuff that was great of Gene Wilder's was spectacular. Young Frankenstein is great. Obviously, Blazing Saddles is great. Stir Crazy is great. But then you look at some of the other Gene Wilder and you're kind of like, well, Willy Wonka's a great movie. Not so much comedic, but it's a great movie. Chris Farley, ? No, I also think Chris Farley's overrated too. 97 Graphics are no longer making the Just Nation white shirts. This makes me sad. Oh, I guess they ran out of them. I guess
that's sad because I never got one.
Well, I mean, I can ask them. I can maybe put in a new order if we get enough people that want to. If enough people want to order a white shirt, if I got a certain number of people that said yes, I'll order a white shirt, then I can do it that way. Anything Pryor did without Gene Wilder sucked. 100%. Basically, Richard Pryor is the most brilliant stand-up comedian of all time, and he made some shitty movies. I mean, like especially towards the end, but before he ended up in a wheelchair. What's the one with him? He's a doctor in one of them. Moving was one of them. It was terrible. JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling was terrible. Brewster's Millions is pretty terrible, even though I watch it every time it's on. Now, John Candy, on the other hand.
There are still some white shirts left.
Oh, just not the right size?
Small, large, and double XL, it appears.
Gotcha. Okay, so I can ask them to add, some different sizes. I just got to get.
If we get enough.
If enough people say, "Hey, I want to order them," I can do that for you.
I can still get a small then.
Well, I'll tell them to get one. I also talked with the guys. Well, hold on. Black Sheep and Tommy Boy died before he could start making awful movies, unlike Sandler. I disagree with that, Matt Groves. I think Tommy Boy is fun and awesome and funny and great. All Black Sheep is the same damn movie regurgitated, and it's not nearly as charming. Chris Rock has made a ton of shitty movies. I can't think of that many good movies Chris Rock did. I think part of it is you take these comedians and then you put them in these bad movies. Like, they don't have a chance to make good movies. Like, I'm trying to think of a good Chris Rock movie. I can't.
The one that we saw a couple of years ago was pretty good. But it wasn't even so much a comedy. It was like based kind of on him where he's like the stand-up and then, remember that movie?
Oh, God, that was forever ago, yeah.
I liked that movie, but I can't remember what it's called now.
Jim Carrey is the greatest slapstick humor guy ever. Maybe, but, Jim Carrey stopped making funny movies a long time ago, too. A lot of these guys had their big moment, and then they started, which to a degree I don't blame them, and I can understand it. I can understand when you keep making like kind of the same type of movie over and over and you want to show your range. The problem is when Jim Carrey shows his range, a lot of these movies aren't good. Now, there have been some that have been good. Like the Andy Kaufman movie wasn't good, but he was good in it, if that makes sense. Not a great movie, just a bunch of, basically a bunch of scenes from Andy Kaufman's life, like famous scenes, but the story really wasn't all that good and it was kind of pointless.
Back to your Mount Rushmore that you never finished.
Yep.
What about Bernie Mac and Bad Santa?
I could argue Bad Santa is the funniest movie of all time. I could make a sound argument for it if there was a debate, especially if I were debating, Biden. I could probably do it. Speaking of Biden, I almost like some shirts pop up on Facebook, you know, like these type of things.
We've reached that level.
But a shirt popped up that I almost bought, and I didn't because I didn't feel like going through the whole process of filling out the order for it, so I didn't order it. But it just said weekend at Biden's, and it had like Pelosi and somebody else holding him up, it was so great, and I might still get it at some point.
Can I have my pen back?
The Incredible Burt Wonderstone was a later Carrie movie that was hilarious. See, I agree.
You love that dumb movie.
Love that movie, and I don't know why I love that movie.
It's so dumb.
It is, but listen, it's you know what it's like? It's kind of like Anchorman 2. Like Anchorman 2 was a great send-up of like the modern cable news.
And then it just keeps going on a little too long.
It went on. No, that movie went on for like 45 minutes too long. That movie could have been over. Basically, everything after Will Ferrell is ice skating and trips on the cable and ends up brain dead. Everything else before that was just brilliant and fast and funny and great. Then it went on for 45 minutes. That movie might have gone on for an hour too long.
It was a long
It was
movie.
Indulgent and terrible, right? Is that a bat? Yes, it's the chicken of the cave. But then the same can be said for Burt Wonderstone. Like the first stretch of Burt Wonderstone, which is a send-up of comedy, and then Jim Carrey's kind of playing the Chris Angel mind freak type of character, and it's really funny. And then again, like in most movies, when it becomes about a love story and all that, it gets kind of lame, and then the end is just ridiculous.
Yes, that was the dumbest ending.
But I think it is a funny movie. Like the core of the movie is funny. Bad Santa is a good one. Easy to argue that's the funniest one ever. Bad Santa is so good. So spectacular, so funny. Like everything about that movie is a home run.
Like we always talk about how I can't watch the same movie over and over again. I can watch Bad Santa over and over again. That doesn't get old to me.
Josh hates Ghostbusters, loves Burt Wonderstone. Jesus. Like here's my issue. I never at any point said I hated Ghostbusters. I like Ghostbusters. I said the movie isn't all that funny. It doesn't mean it's not a good movie. I enjoy Ghostbusters and there's some funny parts. But it's more action comedy than it is comedy. So it doesn't really, I don't find it to be that funny. It's got a couple of funny lines. Let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown, right? Like, there are some fine moments in the movie. I don't hate Ghostbusters. I don't know anybody who does hate Ghostbusters. No love for Cable Guy? I'd have to go back and watch Cable Guy again. It's been a while. Liar, Liar, you were watching that the other day? Liar, Liar's a really funny movie.
Yep, it is.
I'll tell you what I don't think is all that great is the second Ace Ventura. That stunk.
Oh, see, I like that one. When he's comes out of the rhino's ass, that's one of the funniest things ever.
See, I never got into that. Not my type of movie. I say not my type of movie. I like dumb shit. That didn't really do it.
I liked part 2 better than part 1, I think. Well, maybe not. I liked them both equally.
You also know that I find Superbad to be one of the funniest movies of all time, which is fine.
I think the producers of Superbad are doing this Fletch remake.
The producers of Superbad have also made some shitty movies lately.
Yeah.
Like that Bad Boys movie, which was or the Good Boys or whatever it was called.
Yeah. You know, it was a funny movie. Now, just I feel like it's overdone. Like what they're going for was Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids was really funny.
It was. But then here's what happens. Bridesmaids happened, and then everybody tries to make a Bridesmaids movie, just like The Hangover, right? The Hangover's a very funny movie. Then what happens is there's a slew of knockoff Hangover movies where people go to Vegas and they have a bachelor party. And then what really killed The Hangover for me,
The Hangover 2.
And if that didn't kill you, The Hangover 3 killed you. I don't know that I've ever felt more disgusted by a movie than The Hangover 2. Because The Hangover 2 was basically like, they know you, like, we know you're stupid and we know you're going to pay money to see this. So we're just going to binge you right over and give you the same movie we gave you the first time. Basically nothing different in the movie.
They're just in Bangkok.
It just takes place in a different city, and that is it. Jack Black and Cable Guy. Dude, Jack Black is actually funny in a lot of shit. People, I think he gets an unfair knock from a lot of people.
School of Rock is great.
Jack Black in High Fidelity. High Fidelity, me and Sludge talk about that all the time. High Fidelity is one of my favorite movies. Love that movie. School of Rock is a great movie.
And The Polka King. That's on Netflix.
That's a funny movie.
If you guys want to watch something funny, watch, what is it called? Just The Polka King?
Yeah.
That's funny.
He was good in that. He was good in Nacho Libre, which would probably be problematic now. No, it wouldn't. The reason it wouldn't be problematic is it's a white guy doing Hispanic, which nobody seems to care about. Black guys, white guys, anybody can do Hispanic, and nobody cares about that. If he were in blackface, it'd probably be more of an issue. But doing the Hispanic character didn't seem to bother anybody. But Nacho Libre was like a cute kids type of movie that I enjoyed. Ben Stiller is hilarious in Meet the Parents. Ben Stiller's fine in Meet the Parents. In reality, it's grouchy old De Niro that makes the movie.
Yes.
Actually, I'd argue that Judah Freelander has the best scene or line in the entire movie, and it's deadpan and it's great when he's going into like the Walgreens looking for wine for dinner, and he's like,
oh yeah,
he's like, well, we have Mums. It's on sale for like $12.95. Well, like, do you have like a nice fancy $100 bottle? Well, you can buy a whole lot of Mums. Like, that's probably the best line in the whole movie. But the movie is great. But and I would argue the second one is good. I think there was a lot of good in the second Meet the Parents. But the third Meet the Parents, which was called Little Fockers.
Little Fockers.
One of the worst movies I've ever seen. So there. Bernie is awesome. We haven't watched Bernie. We've been planning to watch Bernie for 9 years.
We were going to go see that at the River Oaks, and then we just never did. And then we kept saying, because then it was on like Netflix or Amazon or something, like, oh, let's watch that. Let's watch that. We still haven't watched that. Still.
We've discussed movies you shouldn't think are funny. Simon Birch is hilarious. Let me tell you, the ultimate movie. I was talking about this actually with Joel Blank. I was mentioning this too, because he was talking about when the Rockets won their championships. He was talking about how like they just kept hearing Simply the Best by Tina Turner, which led to a discussion about What's Love Got to Do with It. And What's Love Got to Do with It is the most hysterical movie in the history of cinema.
You love it.
I take everything I said about every movie back. The funniest movie I've ever seen is What's Love Got to Do with It. Shouldn't be funny. It's about a woman getting her ass kicked by this psychotic dude all the time, right? But it shouldn't be funny. And I feel terrible saying that it's funny.
No, you don't, because you cackle watching that. You and Jim. The two of you.
But
you love
funny.
it.
It's funny. Anime. Come on, anime. Eat the cake, anime. Eat the goddamn cake. I'm sorry. You right. You a sorry motherfucker. That's right. Like, it's just so over the top. And Angela Bassett, who's doing like the hardcore, like kind of like puffed out Tina Turner lips. Like, the whole movie is so bad. Those are the best when you watch these movies. Kind of like The Room, how The Room became famous.
Yep.
Which is, it took itself seriously. Like, if people just deliberately make a bad movie, you don't care. If people think they're setting out to make a masterpiece and they make a piece of shit, that's what makes it funny and great. And that's what you got with The Room, and that's why The Room is so famous for that. But the same can be said, like, What's Love Got to Do with It? The fact that more people don't find What's Love Got to Do with It hysterical, it saddens me. What are other movies that you shouldn't think are funny? I like that, M.W. Soulgrove, but you're right on that one. Like Simon Birch. Like spoiler alert, the time Simon hits a ball foul and it kills like the stepmom or whatever. I think it was Ashley Judd. Like, it was so absurd the way she dies in this movie. She's walking and she's smiling, and then he just hits this foul ball and he's so excited it just plucks her right in the temple and she's dead. Shouldn't be funny, but it is. People either love or hate British comedy. There's no in between. I disagree, because there are some British things I find great. I think certain Mr. Beans are great. Like, I don't know that I'd sit around and watch 10 of them in a row, but I think Mr. Bean is great. I think The Black Adder sucks. I think The Full Monty. The Full Monty is great. Love Actually is great. So I'm kind of in between. Like, I don't think you just, like, by saying you either love British humor or you don't, and there's no in between, I think that's wrong. Because just like anything, there are examples you like and examples you don't like. Thank you for the bit, Spank It, Slap It. That's nice of you. Go Gadget Wang says, oh, hi, Mark. The movie, the Disaster Artist, which is about the making of that movie, is also great.
It is.
Let's see. I can also take it the other way. When I was little, Mars Attacks, supposedly a comedy, gave me nightmares for like 2 years. That's how I feel about Fantasia.
Oh, I hated Fantasia.
Fantasia scares the shit out of me to this day. Like, it's supposed to be like a kid's movie, but I'd wake up in the middle of the night and Fantasia would be on. And like the brooms would be dancing, and like it was a real.
They should never
scary.
air that in the middle of the night, by the way, unless you were just playing it. But that's something they should not show past midnight.
It is scary.
That can mess with some folks.
That is scary. Didn't Josh Hamilton kill someone that way in real life, except the fan dove for the ball? Well, he didn't kill someone in that way because nobody got hit in the head with the ball. He threw it, and the guy reached for it and fell in between the fence and the bleachers and died, and that man got a statue.
He threw a ball at me.
You
but
claim
like
that
angrily.
He did, yes?
Yes. I was drunk and heckling when they were playing the White Sox.
And he threw a ball at you.
Yep.
He was probably hammered himself.
He kept, I think he flipped us off once. This is before, like, if I would have taken a picture of it, I could have been like, oh, the disrespect. No, I was an asshole, so I had it coming, but it was funny they threw a ball at me. I ducked.
As you should. That's probably the right move.
Everyone in the section, booed me. It was fun.
I think you made the right move, Jilly. I think that was a good, safe move on your part.
The security guard on the field was really just tickled with us. It was me and my friend Lisa, who were just drinking Bud Light Limes. And it was one of those games where there was like a 4-hour rain delay before the thing even started. Yep. So we were really good and plastered by the 5th, 6th inning.
Boy. Did he throw an 8-ball at you, Jilly?
Nope.
Waka waka.
Nope.
Waka waka. See, that old Dak's got the franchise tag, right? And dude, people's family. So his brother, I guess it's his brother that's tweeting about how he's never even really been a Cowboys fan. People really just need to shut their siblings and relatives up.
But he's had this issue before. Wasn't his dad trying to use him to get out of was it a DUI arrest or something? Remember his dad got pulled over in Mississippi, I want to say, and he was trying to use Dak to get out of it.
Yeah,
wasn't there some story like that?
I don't
something
remember.
With his dad.
But I do know this, that first of all, the dude's full of shit. He's sitting there talking about how he hates the Cowboys. So because Dak is going to get paid, what is the franchise tag for a quarterback? Like $20-something million this year. So because of that, you hate the Cowboys. By the way, your brother, who's a mid-level quarterback, he's nothing special. The only reason your brother is even considered to be worth big money is because he's the quarterback of the Cowboys. If Dak Prescott did the exact same stuff he does, and he has done, and he did that in, I don't know, Jacksonville, he ain't some guy people are talking about $35 million a year for, okay? The position you play and the city you play in makes a big difference, man. It is a huge difference. Being look at Romo. Romo was I consider a much better quarterback than Dak is. But Romo used to get tons of love that was undue based on the fact that he was the quarterback of the Cowboys. That's the lay of the land. And yes, there are people that will criticize you more because you're the quarterback of the Cowboys. But in reality, you are only famous. Dak Prescott is famous and getting endorsements and even being considered for a deal that could pay him $33 to $35 million a year. The only reason he's even considered for that is because of the team he is the quarterback for.
So his dad got arrested for marijuana possession in Orange County, Texas.
Uh-huh.
That was one of them. And then evidently back in 2014, he got so upset with CBS Sports for Vern and Gary stating that in the broadcast that he was not a factor in Dak's life, and he was demanding that they retract the statement. So he actually called into the Feinbaum show. So Dak's family seems a bit...
it's kind of a mess. Kind of a mess.
They should probably just stop talking.
Well, the thing is, they got their money. And if they, first of all, I don't know how many teams out there that need a quarterback next year, for instance. Let's say he hits the market again and whatever. And let's say a team needs a quarterback. How many teams are going to be willing to give Dak $32 million? What if he goes 8-8 again this year? I mean, that's basically what they are. Here's what you need to know about Dak and the Cowboys, okay? Dak and the Cowboys had it laid out to make the playoffs last year. It was right there. The Eagles stunk. The Eagles were awful. They had no receivers, no running backs. There was a bunch of no-name people, and Dak couldn't beat the Eagles one damn time to make the playoffs, okay? So Dak can sit there and tell me all this shit, and his brothers and everybody can say that he's worth all this money, and they hate the Cowboys now. Fine, dude. Good for you. If you played for any other team than the Dallas Cowboys, I don't know that anybody would even give a shit about Dak. I don't think people would pay any attention to him.
Probably not.
No, I think that's fair to say.
Derrick Henry got paid today.
He did. But he's basically the only thing they have on their offense there. I mean, they ran his ass into the ground last year.
4 years, $50 million with 25.5 guaranteed.
Well, he's their offense. I don't know how sustainable that is. I mean, you run him into the ground. They don't have much in terms of quarterback play. At least they didn't last year. That's why they ran him into the ground. At some point, you got to throw the ball. I thought Romo was overrated, but man, Dak completely flipped the script on that for me. I would agree with that. I never thought Romo was overrated. I think that part of being the Cowboys quarterback is a lot of people think you're overrated because of all the attention you get. Romo was a strong quarterback, a very good quarterback, better than Dak is.
I believe you once said he was the best quarterback in the NFC East while in
was.
Philadelphia
And he
in
was
public.
At the time. And he was at the time.
How are you alive?
Because I got the hell out of Dodge. I can't believe I'm defending Dak Prescott, but devil's advocate here. His coach benched his number one receiver for the drive where their division was on the line. Still, man, I don't know. Dak was dreadful in that game. From the jump, Dak was dreadful in that game. There was no excuse other than the fact they were on the road. But to go into Philadelphia and lose a game versus Carson Wentz and the Pips. Hey, look, if you want to give credit to Carson Wentz, both guys had situations where their teams were up against it. One guy didn't have anybody, right? I mean, because I don't think Carson Wentz stinks. I don't think he's some elite quarterback. I think Carson Wentz is good. But Carson Wentz, in that similar situation, had 4 games at 5-7 that he had to win every one of those games for his team to make the playoffs. Were they against shitty teams? Yes. But one of those was against Dak, and all Dak had to do was win that game to make the playoffs. And what did Dak do? Shit the bed. What did Wentz do? Made the plays that he had to make. Ain't like Wentz was thrown to anybody special. You can tell me who Dak didn't have. Tell me who Carson Wentz did have in that. Nobody. Dallas Goedert? Cool. But who were his receivers in that one? Greg Ward. Who were his running backs? Boston Scott. Offensive line, if I recall, was banged up too, and the defense the entire year stunk. So I will respond to your devil's advocacy with all Dak had to do was beat an Eagles team that had no business being in the playoffs, and he couldn't do it. And now we're talking 32 to 35 million for Dak, who's really never done anything special. Let's see. Romo banged Jessica Simpson in her prime. He's a winner in my book. Not only did he bang Jessica Simpson in her prime, he left her ass at, I believe, an IHOP rolled out. Power move. Good point there, Go-Go Gadget Wang. Let's see. McDougal's pecker has been hard for 2 days over 90-year-old Jason Peters returning to play guard, which is adorable because they ain't playing football, Chief. So I find it hard to believe they're going to start this thing on time in either college or the pros, man. Hard to believe that's going to happen.
I do like now that they've gone back and that the Eagles can have fans. They are exempt from Kenny's rules.
Because these guys are making things up as they go.
Yes, evidently it's just events that you'd have to get a permit for that can't happen.
Josh Ennis saying something positive about Carson Wentz. Damn, 2020 is wild. You must not have seen me on social media at all last year because I'm very complimentary of Carson Wentz. But I'm complimentary to an extent. Like, here's what my issue became. Because McDougal was Wentz sucks. Then he beat some shitty teams, and now Wentz is like top 5 in the league. Like, there's no middle ground with McDougal. He's either a lunatic one way or lunatic the other. There's no middle ground. So I can look at the total body of work for Carson Wentz and say, Carson Wentz is a nice quarterback, but I'm not going to blow him for beating 4 bad teams or 3 bad teams in the last 4 weeks. But comparing him to Dak, who had the same opportunity to go out and beat Carson Wentz, who had nobody, Dak stinks based on that. So thank you. Miss Josh in Philly. Met you at Bacon Fest a couple years back. Boy, that was a long time ago.
I think it's when you first met Tank.
It was. That was the very first day I met. I'd been around him before, but it was the first time I hung out with Tank.
You guys did a show together that day, I think.
Out at Bacon Fest. Yes, we sure did. Romo checked Jessica's undercarriage and said, good luck. That he did, friends. Let's see. Josh, are you a Romo-sexual? Remember that bit? Of course I remember that bit. That's when I wanted the Texans to get Romo. You're usually spot on with McDougal, but this time I'm not sure the one you're exposing actually exists. Eagles fans have been pretty consistent in saying he's good. That's bullshit.
Oh,
That is
I can confirm that. Yeah.
bullshit. I don't know who you're reading or what you're. Dude, when they were 5-7, dude, Carson Wentz was getting blasted by people.
I believe we
that's
had
completely
a lot of,
false.
Why'd we let Foles go? Why'd we let him go?
That's been the talk. So, and then of course now everybody. But that's what's funny about McDougal. McDougal can sit around all day and tell you why Wentz stinks. But then the second his rating on Madden is like an 85, they think it's some sort of affront to the entire city. Remember the dude who called in saying Tony Homo and acted like he invented the term? Yeah, that was a fun one in Philly. Dude, let me tell you something. Bless their hearts. And I guess I can say this because I'm not getting hired in Philly, so I guess I can just let loose.
Oh, still no email back, huh?
I'll check one more time just to be sure. But I'm saying it's probably pretty safe that I'm not going to be on the radio in Philly. Do I have an email? Nope. No email. So I feel pretty comfortable in saying this about the vast majority of people. They are the easiest people to fuck with on the planet. They are just, I mean, like, Houston people don't even care enough to screw with them. Like, Houston people don't get angry about any of this shit, so I can't screw with them. That's why trolling didn't work here as well as did Philly. Philly people, bless their hearts, not all of you, because there are some fine folks here, okay? Wonderful people that are fans of the show. It ain't everybody. But a good percentage of the people in Philadelphia, especially those who listen and call into radio shows, are really dumb. Bless their hearts. I'm sure they're nice people. But they are just idiots. Not smart people. So they were just so easy to screw with based on how angry they constantly are and how consistently they flip-flop. One day their quarterback is the worst ever. The next day he's the best ever, even if he did nothing different. Like, that's what's funny about McDougal. McDougal one day will tell you, you know who sucks? Wentz sucks. This is on a Tuesday, he says this. Wednesday happens. There's no game on Wednesday, but like some guy on TV says, you know who sucks? Carson Wentz. Then McDougal's angry. And McDougal's like, no, fuck you, motherfucker. You suck. You know what? You suck too. You suck too, bro, and don't you forget that. You suck too, motherfucker. You suck too. Fuck you. Let's see. And I agree 100% that the radio callers are usually idiots. They are. But I feel comfortable in saying this now because it is pretty much a slam dunk guarantee that I will not be working on the radio in Philadelphia. So there's that.
At least you've had like 2 realizations tonight.
What was my other realization?
That you weren't canceled.
Today has been a very healthy day for me.
Yeah.
I realized that it amazes me that a program director won't even email me back. But whatever, it is what it is. You know what? I got this here. I got the radio show in Houston. Got some other things working potentially. I don't need that. You know, I mean, I wouldn't, if they called, I'd still pick up the phone and see what they had to say, but I don't need that. You know, I don't need to sit there, and you're right, Jilly. I don't need to sit around and beg to do free shit for a radio station that's getting pecker slapped by WIP. I don't need to do that.
It's already turned you down once.
In fairness, there's a difference between turning me down and living in fear of your afternoon guy. It wasn't like a stone cold turn down. It wasn't like we think you suck goodbye.
Right.
It was a Mike Missinelli has a giant gaping vagina and couldn't handle you being on the station and we don't want to upset him. That's what that was. So it's not like that. I know for a fact who likes me there in terms of management, right? I know who does. And I believe that person. That person wouldn't lie to me.
Oh, I know.
Believe that.
I agree.
I also believe they're so scared shitless of Mike they had the greatest opportunity to just dump this guy and start over new and maybe start competing with WIP. Because guess what? Mike got his ass handed to him by WIP in the last quarter. During this Rona, WIP has relegated him to, I think, 7th place. 7th in the demo. So congrats. You've let Ike Reese pecker slap you. Congrats. You can't even speak English, and you've let him beat you.
We make fun of kind of like the hokey bits they do at WIP to, like, you know,
fill
time.
Worked.
But obviously it's working, so good for them.
Hey, you know what? More power to them.
At least they're doing something.
I know. Even when they finally started slipping, they're still 3rd in the market, you know? What's Fanatic doing? Nothing. They're just sitting around doing the same crap and waiting for something to change, and it won't. The opportunity was there. You could have had this sexy piece of man meat right here going in and actually making waves and giving you a chance. There is literally no one else they can hire that would give them a chance. There isn't. So, I mean, maybe they could call Craig Carton. If they call Craig Carton, they'll have a chance. Other than that, they don't have a chance. It is over. Goodbye. Peace out. See you later.
And Craig Carton's probably going to be busy, so.
Well, because Craig Carton's going to end up back on WFA.
Yeah.
Do you think Craig Carton is probably already lined up a job with WFA?
Yes, of course.
I know you do. But can you imagine, like the Fanatic calls? They're like, hey, fella, we're from the Fanatic. Do you want to come work with us here? What's your situation? Well, we're just getting American history X'd by WIP right now. We also don't have that much money. Come work for us. Or you could work at WFAN where you've already dominated before. Where the hell do you think he's going to go? Oh, God, man. But they had their chance. Let me tell you something. I'm going places. This podcast's about to take off. Podcast's already doing well. As we talked about, the podcast does pretty well for a dude that has no backing of some major network behind him. The podcast already does well. The radio show will be fine, and eventually another radio gig will pop up. Or if before the radio gig pops up, this thing blows up into something huge, more power to us. We kick ass. At some point, we as Gist Nation need to acknowledge how much ass we kick and not have to worry about begging people for anything. We're good at what we do. We've been to the mountaintop. We're better than the vast majority of people in sports media. We know that.
And
so it's time we
sure.
start flexing our muscles and swinging our tiny peckers around a little bit and showing them who's boss.
And just because you might have to deliver furniture for Mattress Mac for a few months until that next gig comes around doesn't mean you are any less talented.
You know what? That's going to build character.
Yes.
You know what? Good. And I appreciate your mocking me, and that's fine.
I'm not mocking you. That's 100% serious.
It's not, because, again, the podcast does extremely well and it will continue to do well.
Yes, but it doesn't quite pay all the bills
It could.
yet.
I'll make damn good well it happens. I'll make that shit. See, now I've been watching so much Shark Tank that I'm ready to go. I got passion behind me now because I'm watching this Shark Tank and I'm like, first of all, Lori Grenier, I love you. Second of all, I'm all about, I have a goal in mind here. I want to make this thing into something big. If I get on the radio, great. I'd like to be on the radio. I belong on the radio. I'm a radio person, right?
Again, and I'm all with you with this thing that can be huge and it can blow up. But when you run out of your savings, we do need to pay bills and live.
Okay, that's great. But we're paying bills and living.
Yes, with your savings.
Okay. Just I don't need to get into it.
So what I'm saying is you just, have to be prepared that while we're growing this, we're probably going to have to work in some way. Well, not for free at ESPN.
Okay. That's fine. Something's going to happen.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, you
have
to prepare yourself because you can't just walk in somewhere and get a job overnight. You got to kind of plan these things out.
Maybe we should get on Cameo. What I'll do is I'll be at the very low end of Cameo and charge like $10, $15 and just people do it as a goof. And before you know it, we'll make a couple $100.
There you go.
Maybe that's the answer. I'm telling you, we got a shot here. We have an opportunity here. And I like this opportunity. I like the opportunity to make something of myself so I can tell all these people who've written me off that screw them. I'll do my own thing. And we're doing our own thing. We're doing pretty phenomenal. And we got a loyal group of people here that buy our T-shirts, that listen to the show, that download it. I'm proud of that. There are a lot of radio hosts who are on in major markets today that if they started what we're doing and what we're trying to do could not do it.
Oh, I know that.
They could. There's not one person on 97.5 in Philly that could do it. Go to most major cities where these sports hacks are on the radio, and I'm telling you, they couldn't get to where we are right now. And we're growing, right? We're working on this. You know what I'm saying? This isn't my only thing, but we're working on it. There's a lot of people who couldn't do that.
I know.
And what I need to do is keep telling myself that because it's real and it's true, and let's blow this damn thing up. Let's see. Josh, what are your thoughts on Nick Cannon on Jewish people? Well, I'm fairly certain we've discussed that at length, but...
they're the ones that are actually closer to animals.
That's Nick Wright. Probably his thoughts, too. I apologize. That's Nick Cannon's thoughts on the Jewish people, not my own. I'll pay $20 to send Miss and Ellie a Josh Ennis cameo. Can you just send people cameos?
Yeah, that's what people do for birthdays and stuff.
That'd be fun. To grow the show, you need to be more active on social media. You need to get those clips out like Clay Travis. I get clips out. I'll work on that. Thank you for the feedback on that. You know what? You know what we need to do before we get out of here? First of all, I need to say goodbye to the folks on the podcast. That's number one. So let's see here. goodbye to the podcast.
Goodbye.
Podcast side of things. Done. Now, we got to do a bit splits. But you know what we're going to do because it's been requested today for the bit splits?
What's that?
I'm going to drop a little good stuff on you here. Bit splits! Bit splits! Get those bits in right now like Eagles Monkey just did. 100 of them, sir. So let's go. Get those bits in. It's time for a bit splits. Bit splits!
You're gonna find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down. You know what? We got another one over here. The young man's 10 years old.
He's got the sniffles. That's a case. Thank you, Krilla Gorilla and PB Guy 53 and Chess Cat 85 and Spank It, Slap It, and everybody else throwing those bits in. That's how we keep this bad boy going. We bits it up. Thank you, Pinche Pancho Villa.
Only one person that died. I ran for politics once, but I became president. You are so lucky I'm president. There's a limit to what we can achieve. I stand before you today to declare Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it Kung flu, the Chinese virus. If I lose an election over that, you know what?
That's good. Big trouble. Big trouble. Thank you, Pinche, for the bits. Thank you, MW Soul Grow, for the bits. Thank you, Spank It, Slap It, and Chess Cat for the bits. What else are we talking? Then we just got into like this Chevy Chase rabbit hole.
Yep, we
here.
did.
The gang discusses Chevy Chase's mediocrity. That we do. Chevy Chase's mediocrity. Look at that. Appreciate everybody for throwing those bits in there. You guys are wonderful people. Let's see. Bubba Wallace is angry about crashing at his race car event. Josh has zero clue about NASCAR. All right, let's see here. So thank you guys. You guys are wonderful. I was also considering, I was talking with the guys over at 97 Graphics, and in my discussion with them, I was talking about maybe, because I saw them posting some stuff about face masks, and it feels like face masks are going to be around a while.
They may.
I was contemplating some just face masks.
That might be kind of cool.
Yep. That's something I've considered. I don't know if anybody would buy. I'd have to get like a pretty good idea of how many people want to buy those. I wouldn't just put them on the website.
Right.
That would, but I thought about it. So that would be that's a thought is all I'm saying. I'm giving it thought to doing some just face masks. And you're right, it'd be just on your face. That'd be exactly what it would be, John Fitch. It'd be just on your face. And who doesn't want to have just on their face? I do. And it can protect you. Not only will you have just on your face, but you'll be protected from other people's, nastiness.
That's true.
And you may avoid getting the Rona. Because the odds are we're going to have to be wearing these masks for a long time. Long, long time there. So just some thought if you guys might be interested in some just masks. I'll get some feedback from people on that.
Get them for the kids. Send them to school with the masks.
Now that, my friend.
2 days a week,
That, my friends, is a partay, is what that is. But anyway, so got to take Luther to the vet tomorrow, the chiropractor tomorrow. See what Luther's issue is.
Hopefully
we'll give you guys
they can
an update.
tell us something.
I'm sure they'll tell us something.
My goodness. It's been 3 weeks and no one has an answer.
I know, but hopefully we figure that out.